All right, so what Marci and I are going to do is we are going to walk through an enrollment in 4-H Online 2.0 as a youth and then as an adult volunteer. So I'm going to share my screen and just walk through adding a youth to the new system, and then Marci will do the same, but as an adult. This is what the new home screen looks like for 4-H Online 2.0. You'll notice up in the top here, it's v2.4honline.com. So not 4honline.com. And it's going to be the same login and password. So the same email and password that you used with the original 4-H Online. So that hasn't changed. It is just a different website. So I'm going to go ahead and sign into my personal account. And you'll notice I've already practiced a little bit with some fake children. So these are not actually my children. And I'm going to show you what that looks like. So when you log in on your main page, you'll see everyone in your family. So my volunteer profile is down there. And then if I had kids already enrolled, they would show up as well. And you'd have the option to re-enroll them. But we're going to walk through an enrollment from scratch. So I'm going to click the Add Member button up here in the top. And I would like to join 4-H. I'm going to hit Next. All right, so this is where you would enter your first name. Tonight, I'm going to enter my dog's name. Her name is Rosetta. And I'm going to give her a preferred name of Rose and a birth date. All right, and so these are the same options that would have been in 4-H Online 1.0. So you'll be able to pick your gender, female, male, gender identity not listed, or prefer not to respond. And then your grade. Then your demographics, you're going to choose your residence. So if you live on a farm, if you live in a town under 10,000 or a rural non-farm area, which is where I live, you can be a town, city, or suburb of 10,000 to 50,000, a city or suburb more than 50,000, or a city central more than 50,000. So we're going to have probably all of those here in Polk County. And if you have any questions as to which one you fall in, let us know and we can help you with that. Then you will pick your ethnicity and your race. And this is where you'll fill out your emergency contact. The important part of this emergency contact is to list somebody that you want contacted first in case of an emergency. So if you want mom to be called first, if you want dad to be called first, if you want them to contact grandma, grandpa first, whatever you want as a family, this is what you're going to put there. So for my child, I would put my name because I would like to be contacted first. At my work phone number. And at my work email address. All right, and then you'll come to this screen. For most of us, we're going to pick the want to join 4-H as a new or returning 4-H club member, and not the I want to participate in an activity but not join 4-H at this time. So you go ahead and click that button and then hit finish. All right, and so I was successfully created as a member, and then it's going to walk you through a lot like 4-H 1.0 through some different questions. So the first one is clubs. You should see all of the clubs in Polk County listed on this list that you are able to be a member of. If you, for some reason, don't see a club that you think should be on here, let us know and we'll help you with that. I'm going to pick the Innovators for my club. And next is projects. So one new thing is in the past, you did not have to select any projects before you continue with your enrollment. But this year you do actually have to select at least one project. And you can always go back and add more projects later. I'm going to add the dog project area. All right, and so these questions are all going to be required. So you can hit show questions or next. Either one is going to take you to the correct screen for the questions. And it's got the stuff from earlier already pulled in. This is where you can add a second emergency contact if you would like. If you have someone else that you want to be listed in case your first contact is not available. And then this is also where you're going to enter the parent guardian information. I'm not going to enter a second parent just for time's sake. And then you're going to select a school. So currently, right now, it's automatically selected to have you enter a school, but if you click the top one here, it's going to let you find a school in Polk County. So you'll just scroll down until you find Polk, and then you'll pick one of the school districts listed and then one of the schools listed. They're working on changing it so that that is actually the one that's auto-selected. If you get a little confused with that at all, just let us know. We can always fix it in the system afterwards. Next is the military information, if you have anyone in your family serving in a branch of the military. And then you get to select your correspondence preference, if you prefer to have things mailed to you physically or if you're okay with email. And after that is our transportation options. So you can pick up to all 4 of these, although picking all 4 of them would not necessarily make sense. But you can have your child ride with any 4-H staff member with a valid driver's license, any screened 4-H volunteer with a valid driver's license, or any family member with a valid driver's license. Or you can say that your child is not able to travel with anyone but your guardian. That is completely up to you and what works best for your family. Please do know that all of our volunteers and staff members are screened every 3 years, and that does include a driver record check. So they are all up to date on that. Then you'll select a t-shirt size. I'm not sure what size a dog would wear. All right, and this is where you would put your name, just consenting to all that you entered above.
Megan, I did have a question.
Yes.
In the chat box, it says Clovers, they need to select a project as well, correct?
I believe that is correct. They would need to select a project area as well. And I do not think we have a specific Clover Kid project area, but they could select anything that they're interested in.
Correct.
All right, let's hit next and see if I got everything filled out. I did. Okay, so next is the health form. Same thing. You can click the show health form or next, and it will take you to the same window. So it's asking the same questions from before. Do they have any allergies? Yes or no. Are they on any authorized medications? Yes or no. And do they have any medical conditions that we need to know about? Yes or no. And then after that, you will just sign their name and your name and say that you agree to the medical release here above, and then move on from there. Perfect. All right, and then we come to the consents page. Same thing as before, you can hit show consents or next, and it'll take you to the same screen. This is where we talk about liability and release of liability. And then you'll put their name and your name and agree to those terms. The next is the code of conduct for youth. So these are the behavior expectations of the youth members. And the Iowa Exhibitor Code of Ethics. We have the program evaluation and research. You can agree or you can not give permission to participate in evaluation and research. And then there's the publicity release. Same thing, just their name and your name. And you can also agree or disagree to publicity if you want your photo or name anywhere, or do not. And then this one is a little new this year. It's the risk of participating in online/virtual 4-H programs, because we are doing a lot more virtual programs this year. We just added an additional signature here in regards to Zoom bombing or anything else that may happen in a virtual setting. We're hopeful that that never happens, and we do everything that we can to make sure that it does not happen. All right, and this is your payment option. So a little new this year, you don't have to deselect automatically pay with check. And Marci and myself and Madison are super excited about this because it makes it a lot easier for adding a credit card payment. So on here, you can automatically add a new card. I'm not going to add a new card because I don't want to be charged $40 for my dog to participate in 4-H. So I'm going to go ahead and say that I want to pay with an invoice collected by the Polk County area. And by applying that, I am acknowledging that my enrollment is not going to be accepted right away. It will not be accepted until they receive that check or cash. So I'm going to hit continue. All right, and it says that I now owe a check to Polk County, and this little message pops up here. Thank you for enrolling in Polk County 4-H. Checks need to be written out to ISU Extension and Outreach Polk County. All checks or cash can be mailed or dropped off to the ISU Extension and Outreach Office located at 1625 Adventureland Drive, Suite A, Altoona, Iowa, 50009. If you have any questions regarding payment or financial assistance, please reach out to Megan Friel at my email and phone number. So that message will pop up for everyone who owes a check. So if you have any club members that have questions about what to do with their checks, hopefully they can see that message. And if not, always point them to myself, Marci, Madison, and we're happy to help. So I'm going to hit next there. And this is just my overview. This is the step that sometimes gets missed, is to hit submit down there at the bottom. So sometimes you think after you've hit next on that previous screen that you're done. And that is what leaves an enrollment in incomplete. So you have to go to this next screen and hit submit. And then it is good to go. So now if I clicked into the Polk County 4-H online, I would see that I had a new enrollment for Rosetta Friel and that they paid with check. So I would not accept that enrollment until I got that check or they paid with cash in the office.
All right, so we will get started on the adult enrollment. So much like Megan did, I'm just going to take and put an adult under my account here. So I just was at that same screen where she was, and I am going to add a new member. So once again, for an adult, you're going to start off with 4-H. I'm going to click next, and then I'm going to, we'll do Jack. And we'll keep the same as my last name. And then we're going to do a birth date. So we'll do, it does require a birth date for adults. If you are a returning leader, I believe I have everyone's birth dates changed to something so that it'll allow you to update. But if for some reason you are having an issue with that, please let me know and we can change that. When it did a rollover from one system to the other, it switched a lot of our adults to 277 years old. And so I think I have that fixed on everyone who needed it, but if for some reason it needs to be changed, just contact Megan or I. So we'll make Jack a male, and much like Megan's, some of these questions are still the same. So where do you live? We'll go there. And Hispanic or Latino ethnicity. And then emergency contacts. So for an adult, it can be, I'm just going to do myself. Well, we'll make this my husband we're enrolling. So if I can type. So there's my work information, and we'll click next. This will be the person that they'd contact the first when things went. Maybe my phone number will go. All right, so retyping it worked for me there. So I want to join 4-H as a new or returning volunteer, and I'm going to click finish. So there it has created that. And then we're going to select our volunteer types. I guess we do have the next button down there as well. So this would be, what kind of volunteer are you? If you are the primary or one of the primary club leaders, you're going to click the club volunteer. And direct and ongoing means that you're there almost every meeting and you're kind of the one in charge. The club leader assistant would be the one helping. Most of our leaders are considered the direct and ongoing leader. So that's what we will select for today. And then it's time for me to select my 4-H club. So what club am I going to be a part of? I believe we have one that's just listed as our volunteer club that I'll add Jack to. So this is just our volunteers. So we'll click this one and click next. And then I have the questions. So I will click next here and maybe I popped them down here at the bottom. Let me find where I need to be. Yeah. It does ask you some information about job title, employer, work phone. If you want to add that information, you're more than welcome to. For the time being, I won't. Emergency contact as well, if you wanted to add a second one. Military, I have some options there. Correspondence preference, email or mail. T-shirt size, we'll do an extra large. And then for an adult, it also asks you if you are 4-H alumni. So we will say yes to Jack here. And then you just have saying that you indicate that you have read these sections. So click next. Then I can do the health forms. So do they have any allergies? No. Any medications? No. Any conditions? No. And then the volunteer medical permission, for if you are at an event, we would put the permissions here and agree to it. And then the consent. So there is assumption of risk here for the adults as well. Maybe if I can spell my last name. I agree to the terms. Volunteer code of conduct. Confidentiality, because you are working with youth, to make sure you keep private information private. Publicity release. And then release of liability. Transportation release, saying that you have a personal vehicle that may be used for transportation of the youth. And then the risk of participating in online or those virtual programs, much like what we're doing right now. And so then this is my enrollment, and then I can click submit. There is an opportunity, or I guess it says projects. I never saw that as an option, but I can go ahead and I can submit. There's no fees associated with being a volunteer. So that'll just automatically show up here on my information. If you remember, I said some of you might have a birth date that I had to edit. If you do want to change it yourself, I'll show you that again. So if I click view here and it automatically pops up the profile, if I hit edit, I can change that birth date. Right, I think this is the standard one that I picked. So if you want something that's a little bit more accurate, if I made you too old or too young for what you're liking, go ahead and feel free to change that birth date.